Saudi Arabia is doing something that sounds absolutely insane. They're burying water. Yes, millions of gallons of salt water hidden deep beneath desert sand. While most countries fight to keep water above ground, Saudi is pumping it underground. Why? What are they really up to? You might think this is a waste in one of the driest places on Earth, but what if I told you this underground move could save cities, grow crops, and even change the future of the Middle East? No natural rivers. Almost no rainfall. Yet somehow, Saudi has built one of the longest hidden water systems in the world, all underground. And this secret project is turning deserts into green zones and giving life to dead land. Let's uncover how they did it and why the result is blowing everyone's mind. Saudi Arabia sits on endless sand. It has no rivers, no lakes, and barely any rain. The land is dry, the heat is brutal, and water used to be a constant problem. But since 2021, everything changed. Saudi didn't wait for nature, they took control. The country built over 500 dams in different regions. These dams collect rainwater when rare storms pass through. The water flows through wadis, which are dry river beds that suddenly fill during heavy rain. It might not rain much, but when it does, these dams grab every drop and store it. Why is that important? Because direct sunlight and heat would evaporate it in hours. With dams, they store it, treat it, and send it through cities and farms across the country. One of the biggest dams is the Holly Dam, located east of Mecca. Built between 2003 and 2009, this single dam alone can hold nearly 250 million cubic meters of water. Across Mecca, there are around 60 dams in total. Together, they can store over 230 billion gallons. But here's the real twist: dams are not Saudi's main source of water. Most of the country's water actually comes from below, deep underground lakes called aquifers. According to geologists, there's an estimated 26 trillion gallons of water sitting under the desert. Sounds amazing, right? Not so fast. Only a tiny portion of that water is renewable. Most of it is ancient water left behind thousands of years ago when the region was wet. Once it's used up, it's gone forever. Scientists call this fossil water, and once it's pumped out, there's no way to refill it. Fossil water is like a savings account left by nature. It built up slowly over thousands of years, trapped underground when the land was green and rivers flowed through the Arabian Peninsula. Now, Saudi Arabia is tapping into that savings account, fast. They use it not only for drinking but for farming, washing cars, watering parks, and more. But there's a big problem: they use more than what can be naturally replaced. Only around 739 billion gallons a year can be safely replenished. That's a drop in the bucket compared to how much the country uses. And because rain is so rare, no one can count on it to recharge the supply. It's like spending money without earning any back. One day, it'll hit zero. In a move straight out of science fiction, Saudi engineers decided to pump millions of gallons of seawater deep underground beneath the sand. They didn't dig rivers, they built pipelines stretching 8,700 miles, longer than the Nile River itself. These massive underground pipelines pull water from the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, sending it across Saudi Arabia. That's how water reaches cities far from the coast like Riyadh, Jeddah, and Mecca. Why underground? Simple, to avoid evaporation. Desert heat can boil away water in no time. But underground, the water stays cool, clean, and under pressure. This system is one of the longest man-made water transport networks on Earth, and most of it is invisible, hidden beneath layers of sand. This underground pipeline system isn't the only one in Saudi Arabia. There's also the National Water Supply Network, which is even longer, over 78,000 miles. But here's the key difference. Much of the older network runs above ground or is buried shallow. That makes it more vulnerable to heat, evaporation, and damage. The newer Red Sea pipeline system runs deep underground. That protects the water, keeps the pressure stable, and shields it from the intense desert temperatures. It's not visible, but it moves life across the country like an invisible river flowing beneath the sand. And the water inside? It's not regular seawater anymore. Before it can be used, seawater must be cleaned. Saudi Arabia uses desalination plants to remove salt and make the water safe. This tech is a game-changer for countries surrounded by ocean but lacking fresh water. Desalination turns seawater into drinkable water, but it comes at a price. It takes a huge amount of energy, mostly from non-renewable sources, which makes it very expensive, 3 to 10 times more than other water sources. Plus, it produces a toxic waste called brine. If not disposed of carefully, this brine can harm marine life. Still, Saudi Arabia leads the world in desalination. They've made it work on a massive scale. But Saudi's plan goes even further. They're not only solving the water crisis, they are fighting the desert itself. Through the Saudi Green Initiative, the country aims to plant 10 billion trees and restore 30% of its land. The goal is to stop desert expansion, improve food supply, and lower heat in cities. More trees mean cleaner air, cooler streets, and better health. Experts believe it can lower city temperatures by up to 4 degrees Fahrenheit, a big deal when summer hits 122 degrees Fahrenheit. It's more than a green plan, it's a complete transformation of how the country lives, grows, and survives. Saudi Arabia had no rivers, so they built one underground. With desalination, dams, and hidden pipelines, they've turned a dry, lifeless land into a functioning, thriving system. Their underground water network is not just an engineering success, it's a symbol of survival, innovation, and vision. The real question is, if Saudi Arabia can build rivers under the desert, what can your country do with its own challenges?